Hi, there's one topic I would like to talk about, and that is I see on social media a lot of times when there's something regarding spiritual awakening, I see many times people say it's the worst thing that happened to them, or like that it's such a horrible thing. So it creates a question, why do so many people seem depressed after spiritual awakening? And I would say that maybe a recognition of the self took place, but then out of it, and out of conceptualizing non-duality a lot, it can create this. So there is not the experience, the sweetness of spiritual awakening, there is a conceptual understanding and knowing of what is being kind of spoken about. But that is not all. You cannot conceptualize awakening. And talking about it is already enough of conceptualizing it. So there might have been an experience, but then your mind just takes shape of nothing matters, there's nothing to do, and I don't exist, I am nothing, etc. And out of that you become a certain person who is very cynical. It's all just a dream, so like why would I try, and like what's the point anyway, blah blah blah. Like that seems to be a mental state of many people who write things like these, where they say spiritual awakening was the worst thing. I have as if depression, because nothing matters, everything is just dead, and it's just nothing because I am nothing, yada yada yada. It's just mental view, it's just a mental point. It's not the reality. Reality is way nicer. It's conceptualizing it which makes it then sound so depressing. Saying I am nothing actually. I don't exist, and like it's all just a dream. If you take a point of the person, someone who is then stuck in this dream, it is depressing. It makes no sense. It's stupid. But that's not spiritual awakening. That's just philosophy. So then, if you feel that you don't know what to do in life, then just do what comes up. And you notice things which fulfill you more, which are more enjoyable. Do those. If your mind then says, yeah, but it doesn't matter, and like, why would I try? It's just like, don't think about it, just do it. Why not? Just don't think about it. There's no point in thinking about it. If you say that there's no point in doing anything, because you are not the doer or whatever, then there is no point thinking about that one either. So then don't think about it and do what feels nice. What is needed at the same time. By doing what feels nice could be a trap also, by being selfish or doing things like out of very egoistic interests. In this I mean do what fulfills you. For me it feels very nice to do these videos. It feels way nicer to actually then talk with someone and see that it improved their inner state. It feels nice, but it doesn't give me anything. It's still as if it doesn't matter, but somewhere it feels fulfilling. It's nice, because I've helped myself. Just on the other side. I don't have to think about that. It just happens. It's what's needed, and it's just an understanding that there is a person who struggles with something, and if I can burn it in them, good. I'll do it. Out of compassion, understanding. No problem. If I was like, oh, well, it doesn't matter anyway, and like, why try, and why... No, it's just something that appears, so then be responsible and act towards what appears and what is needed in what appears. You don't have to think about it. That would be the action part. And the inner state part is something is still off. If there has been an awakening and you feel that you struggle with your anything basically, then it's not really awakening, it's the recognition. So you just recognized and then you took identity in the recognizer or the one that recognized. So if your mind talks as the observer, or I am the consciousness and I don't like this, I am the consciousness and I like that, then you're not really there. Even if recognition happened, you're not there. And that's okay. It's not even that you're not there, just your mind is not dissolved enough into the understanding and into the discernment. So just, if you haven't practiced, just keep at your practice and keep inquiring into things. Because then all that appears is just very beautiful. Even the ugly is very beautiful. Even if your mind disagrees, you're still experiencing this. With disagreement or agreement, it's this. It's what is. If your mind rejects it, then it's in delusion that it can get something or that it can get better out of your rejection. If your mind knows that there is no point, then it just gives in and accepts, trusts. And that creates a consequence of feeling happy, equanimous, if that's the word, if I'm saying it right. So then it's just your mind being still a little wonky when it comes to control and how things are perceived. So that's what I see when I read people saying, I had an awakening and it's the worst thing ever. I'm suffering so much. I am enlightened and like my enlightenment made me suffer so much. I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm like, what? You don't know what you're talking about. So much when people say, yes, my awakening started 2 years ago and it's been hell ever since. I'm like, what? I have no idea. It's like a really bad description of something else. Because that's not what they're talking about. That's not awakening. Maybe I'm just not getting the spiritual new age talk, but if there's any awakening to happen, it will do the other side. Recognition of the self does not make you suffer more. It makes you free of suffering. But if you take a mental standpoint on it, if you make an ideal out of it, an opinion on it, a philosophy out of it, then you're just butchering what you're noticing. It's like if you look at a beautiful flower and you go, yeah, but actually didn't want roses, I wanted tulips, so I don't like that. If you take that mental point or a perception of something which is very beautiful, you can butcher it. Your mind can butcher it. It's something that I realized very early on. After my own recognition, I was like, oh my god, I need to show people, because this is the most beautiful and freeing experience that I've ever experienced. I have to at least share it with someone. There is so much bliss, and people which I care about are angry, upset, they are anxious. I'm like, no, it can be so different. Let me show. And then even if you grab people's hand and guide them to the source, if they're not thirsty for it, they will just look at it and say, yeah, that's water, but I don't want water, I want Coca-Cola. So if I guide someone who is like, yeah, I'm in a lot of pain, I need antidepressants. I'm like, yeah, well, but look at this. And they're like, oh, that's so nice. But in 3 days of that recognition, they come back to me like, yeah, that's so nice, but I actually need something else. And I'm like, well, you just taught yourself out of it. You want magic. You want someone to do blessings on you, and when you are guided to the source, to freedom, you just turn around and go, yeah, that's kind of alright, but I want the flashiness, I want the fireworks immediately, so that's not for me, bye. You have to be thirsty. You have to be annoyed with yourself. You have to be at a point where you're just so done with yourself that you drop yourself, because you see no other way. If you're not at that point and don't have that fire, and out of your understanding and seeing the futility of it, it's not gonna work. You're just gonna make an idea out of spirituality and out of some non-dual ideas. Then it's not really awakening, it's nothing. You're just making philosophy. So I think that's the issue with people who say things like that. It's not an issue with them, but that's where the issue is created for them. That's why they suffer it. What they think is awakening.